In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the brand new autofocus lens from TTArtisan, the 35mm f1.8 Mark II. And just like all our other lens reviews, we'll be heading off out into the real world to put it through its paces to see whether it really is worth considering. So let's head off out. So we've made it here to London with the TTArtisan 35mm f1.8 lens, and we've got it paired up with a crop sensor Sony a6700. We're going to go around, do some street photography with this lens, see whether it's worth considering or is it worth avoiding. Let's see what we can find. So like I say, this is the new TTArtisan Mark II version of their 35mm f1.8 lens. It comes in Fuji X mount, Nikon Z mount, but we'll be using it on the Sony E mount system. Now the lens comes in at only 176 grams, and when paired up with a Sony a6700 feels absolutely fantastic, and you could mistake it for a native Sony lens. And because this is a 35mm APS-C lens, which equates to roughly a 52mm lens on a full frame camera, it makes it a very versatile lens indeed. Now the lens feels like it's mainly made from a metal construction, and it's made up of 10 glass elements in 7 groups. Supplied with the lens is the rear cap, lens cap and sun hood. On the outside of the lens we get a focus ring which feels okay. It's not the smoothest I've ever felt, but then again it's not the roughest. And the build quality overall, considering this is a budget option lens, in my opinion feels excellent. It doesn't feel cheap. The only thing that I would have liked to have seen included with the lens that isn't is a weather sealing gasket. Now if you've watched any of my other lens reviews, you probably recognise this place as Graffiti Tunnel in London, and it is a prime opportunity to get some excellent street photography. And because this lens's aperture can go down to f1.8, you're not going to have any problems in them low light situations. But let me just edit this photo in post just to bring out some of them details in them shadows. And there we go, much better. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. So we're going to quickly stop this video for a quick message to all our viewers and subscribers, and no, it's not an advertisement. If you've ever suffered from social anxiety or worried about taking photos in public, then we have the solution for you. We've just released a brand new book called How to Overcome Your Fears of Street and Public Photography, and this is a guidebook with a 5-stage action plan for you to overcome self-doubt, any negative thoughts or anxiety when taking any type of photography out in public. So how do you get your hands on this book? Well, all you have to do is go to tip top jar down below in the link description, or click this QR code here and pay £10 to the upkeep of this channel, and in return you get this digital download of this book worth £20 for absolutely free. So let me just repeat that again. If you tip this channel £10, which goes into the helping of making these videos, in return we're going to send you the digital download of this book worth £20 for absolutely free. So be quick, don't miss out on this opportunity to overcome your social anxiety of taking photos in public. Make sure you check out the link down below. Right, back to the video, and as you can see in the lens cap of this TTArtisan lens, there's a USB-C port for firmware updates, which is really nice to see. One thing that isn't easy to see though on this lens is the markings to line it up with your camera body. The marking is almost hidden and very small, and makes it very hard to change the lens, especially if you're in a low light setting. Now as for the sharpness of this lens, I'm very impressed, remembering that this is a budget option lens coming in at just 125 UK pounds. The sharpness levels are equivalent to a much more expensive lens. The bokeh it produces is also nice and pleasing, even if it does have a slight ghosting effect. The bokeh balls are good, but can vary depending on their placement in the image or the lens's aperture setting. And because the lens has a minimum focus distance of 40cm, it means that any close-up photography is actually pretty decent. The lens measures only 49mm deep and 60mm wide. It also comes with a 52mm filter thread, and unlike the original Mark I TTArtisan 35mm lens, this one comes with a more traditional style sun hood, meaning that you can actually use filters with the sun hood on. Right, let me show you a few more sample images with this lens, and it's important that you let others know what you think in the comments section below. Remembering also that all these images are straight from camera in JPEG format. And when paired up with a Sony a6700, I had no problems at all with the autofocus built into this lens. It was relatively fast and hit focus where I wanted it to. It's also worth me mentioning that I couldn't hear any focus noise from the motors built into the lens. Let's also test it out in video mode. So we're running the lens directly with a Sony a6700 and we're not using any type of filters. That's why our shutter speed is 1/800th and we've set the aperture to f4. Let's see how it handles the focus, bearing in mind that we have got face and eye detect on. Now walking out of shot, the focus transition seems very smooth indeed, with no obvious signs of pulsing or hunting. But as we step back into the shot and away from the camera, we are getting a slight focus pulsing, which is really noticeable on the outer edges. And you can see this as I walk back towards the camera. Now, is this a deal breaker? Definitely not. I'm sure TTArtisan can fix this with a firmware update. Now, this focus pulsing is almost certainly down to the amount of focus breathing that's in this lens. And as you can see from this demo clip, the focus breathing is quite severe. But where does this leave us then with this lens, and what is my final conclusion? Well, I think we have to remember that this is a budget option lens and comes in at only 125 UK pounds. It's also an autofocus lens with a fast aperture of f1.8. The build quality is superb, and the things that I would knock it down a mark or two, like the lack of weather sealing, would make the lens more expensive. The image quality you get from this lens, in my opinion, is worth a lot more than a £125 price tag, and the only real negative that I could find with this lens is that slight pulsing in video mode, but I'm sure TTArtisan can fix that with a firmware update. So my final conclusion is then, this lens represents excellent value for money and outstanding performance for its price. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions about this lens or anything else camera related, put them down below in the comments section. And if you want to see further videos from myself, hit that subscribe button and we'll catch up in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon, everyone.